Good evening, ma'am. Well, we're about to talk to one of the most high-voltage politicians in Tamil Nadu, the chief challenger to the DMK Congress Alliance, Jayalalithaa. That was really a high-voltage rally. As you are now just a few days away, ma'am, from the voting and then the results, how confident are you going in?
I'm very confident that our alliance will sweep the polls. Although various poll surveys have predicted that our alliance will win anywhere between 164 seats to 184 seats, my own assessment is that our alliance will win not less than 218 seats.
Ma'am, what do you believe has been the main factor in these elections? When I was listening, in fact, to this speech, we heard a lot of references to Karunanidhi's performance. We heard a lot of references to the 2G spectrum scam. We heard a lot of references to corruption. What do you believe, ma'am, is the main issue in this election?
The main issue in this election is the all-pervasive corruption indulged in by Mr. Karunanidhi, his family members, his party members, his ministers, the entire DMK. The domination of one family, Mr. Karunanidhi's family, over all affairs in the state, the breakdown, total breakdown of law and order, and the unprecedented power cut, which has caused a crisis in industry, in agriculture, all over the state, and total non-performance, misrule.
Ma'am, there are those who say that in the end, in Indian elections, arithmetic more than politics, and the arithmetic of allies determines electoral results. Are you concerned, ma'am, about how the arithmetic of these allies could go?
I'm not concerned at all. All these theories will be gone with the wind when the results are out. Will be swept away.
Swept away by the wind and the results?
There's a tidal wave of support in our favor and a great cyclonic storm of anger directed against Mr. Karunanidhi's family and the DMK government.
Ma'am, talk a little bit about what's been called the mixie grinder election in Tamil Nadu. I heard you also refer to it. As a woman, I suppose it's one way to connect with ordinary housewives. But is this populism and is this cheap populism?
This is not populism, and I do not like this trivialization of our election manifesto. You are only concentrating on one point mentioned in the manifesto about the free mixies, grinders and fans. I think you have not cared to read the entire election manifesto. It will take too long to explain. But apart from these, there are a number of growth-oriented schemes outlined in our election manifesto. We plan to increase the growth rate. We plan to increase productivity all round. We plan to increase cotton production, rice production, and we plan to increase power generation by 5,000 megawatts. There are so many other schemes, it would take too long to explain and enumerate all of them.
Fair enough. Ma'am, you made this comment about how Karunanidhi's regime's corruption will be the defining issue in this election. But some people say that people vote on what in North India we call roti kapra makan issues, daily bread and butter. Do you believe that that will supersede the issue of the 2G scam, or do you believe the 2G scam will be the definitive issue in this election?
Not just the 2G scam alone. The all-pervasive corruption of the Karunanidhi family. It's not just the 2G corruption, the 2G scam, although that is unprecedented in the history of India, not only in the history of India, but in world history. Nowhere has a scam of such colossal proportions taken place before this. But there is also a lot of corruption in sand mining, granite quarrying, so many other illegal activities. I had banned the sale of lottery tickets during my regime. Now these tickets are being sold in the black market. So many others, illicit liquor. There are many other ways in which they are making money through illegal means.
Ma'am, the DMK Congress Alliance has been reeling under a number of contradictions. We saw Sonia Gandhi and Karunanidhi share the stage in Chennai, but we also see the centre acting against many of the DMK leaders. Do you believe that this is an alliance that can sustain itself politically?
I think we need to see what happens after the elections. I reserve comment until then.
May I ask you how disappointed you are about your falling out with VAIKO?
No, there was no falling out with Mr. VAIKO. I had tried my best to persuade Mr. VAIKO to join our alliance and offered up to 12 seats. But his expectations were unrealistic. I could not fulfill those expectations. I have said that my affection and respect for him will always remain.
So you hope for a post?
Another comment which I want to answer, which you haven't mentioned so far, but your correspondent did earlier. There is this tendency, especially among the North Indian media, TV channels like yours, English news channels, English newspapers, to dub us all as corrupt. You say Karunanidhi is corrupt, Jayalalithaa is corrupt. What's the difference between the two? Now I would like to ask you in return, what is this so-called corruption that I am supposed to have indulged in? Have I done anything, indulged in anything like the Spectrum scam or the colossal granite quarrying scam through which Karunanidhi's family has earned 80,000 crores, or the colossal sand quarrying scam through which Karunanidhi's family has earned 50,000 crore rupees, or the Spectrum scam where 1,76,000 crore rupees have been swindled? The public exchequer has been defrauded of such a big amount. I don't think you can point out any one such instance in my entire political career. On the other hand, this so-called tag of corruption, the so-called label of corruption, was given to me by Mr. Karunanidhi, who is my political adversary, arch rival. It was he who foisted all these cases against me, and I have come out of 12 cases. I have been acquitted by the court. So I would like you to explain, channels and correspondents like you to explain, what is this so-called corruption that I am supposed to have indulged in. So I object to this. I object to being branded as corrupt. I am not corrupt. My party is not corrupt.
NDTV's cricket app, Android and iPhone, fastest scorecard, special analysis, and much more. Download free. NDTV.com/apps.